back to another YouTube video. As you guys can see, I'm in the middle of nowhere right now, but I do have the CLE 53 right here in front of me. She's a little dirty right now. I haven't really washed her as much. This video is more so just a day in the life. I'm just gonna be taking you guys along my day-to-day journeys. I feel like, I don't know, just basic shit that I be doing throughout the day. I just thought I'd pick up the camera and kind of vlog it because I am trying to have more of a personal connection with you guys, because that was the whole point of this YouTube channel to begin with. I'm not really the type to really be in front of a camera and just talk to her and, you know, do all kinds of shit, but I'm gonna be kind of getting out of my comfort zone and kind of making this a routine for myself. As I said, it's been about a week and a half since I got this vehicle. If you guys want to go buy your dream car and you guys can do it, go do it. Don't think twice about it. Don't look at everything else when it comes to it. Just go and do it. That's pretty shit advice, but I'm not gonna lie. I've just been enjoying the car way too much for me to say anything else. I'm headed to the warehouse right now, but I do have a couple of pit stops to make on the way there. I do want to get a couple things from the convenience store, so I'm going to be stopping there real quick. Let's give this car a quick pull. This is like my first time ever getting like a fast car, because as you guys may or may not know, I was previously whipping up in a Toyota SUV, so this is like my first ever fast car, you can say. I guess it classifies as a fast car. It's an AMG, right? I don't know, it's just an unreal feeling. To this day, to this moment, it just feels like it's crazy to me, because it's just like, I don't know. As I said, I kept saying this in the last video. If you guys told me a year ago that I would be in this position that I am in right now, I would never believe it. I would just think you guys are like bullshitting or just, you know? But that just proves that anything is possible. This is a topic that I wanted to talk about as well. When it comes to me, something that I noticed myself doing is limiting myself when it's come to my capabilities. And that is more so when it comes to the topic of gym. I've had a love-hate relationship with the gym. Recently, my homies have been going every day and they've been sticking to the routine and stuff. Anytime they tell me to come to the gym with them, I just throw up an excuse. I'm like, yo, I want to fix my diet. My diet's not on 10, so there's no point in me even going to the gym, whatever, whatnot. At the end of the day, it all comes down to me just making excuses for myself to not wanting to go to the gym. As logical as it may seem, like, why would you even go to the gym when you're not eating all the meals that you need to be eating and doing all the extra shit, whatever? Logically, it makes sense, but the truth is that it doesn't matter. You just need to start. You need to start putting in the work before you even worry about all the other stuff. I just came to the convenience store real quick. I'm gonna head in there, grab my bev, and hop back out. It's good, bro. How are you? Thank you, bro. You guys know Rubicon. And then the go-to water I do be getting is the Flow water, man. So I'm putting you guys on right now. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. It's a CLE. Yeah.
This is dirty as fuck, man.
I know. It looks crazy, right?
It's fat as hell, bro.
Yeah.
How fast does shit go?
I think it's like 440 horsepower.
Jesus.
Yeah.
This is all you?
All me, man.
Oh, my God, yo.
Thank you,
Keep
bro.
it up, fam.
Appreciate it, man. But yeah, that shit too right there. That shit just alone in itself, it just doesn't feel like real life to me. It's just weird, you know? People coming up to you and complimenting the whip, and looking at you, staring, stopping, and just looking at the car, putting their phones out and recording. I don't know, I've never really been the type to like experience some shit like that. And it's just like, you guys have your dream car in mind and you guys want to go and get it, and you guys are in a position to be able to get your car, pull the trigger and do it. Don't even think twice, you know? But yeah, as I was saying, the times when I love going to the gym, I will go and I won't make any excuses for myself. But at the times when life gets rough and stuff starts piling up on my plate, I just give up on the gym. I sacrifice that one thing and I let go of it, and I just make up excuses as to why I'm not going. Oh, my diet's shit, there's no point of me even going. And I've come to a conclusion that all of that stuff is all because of your own deluded excuses. So that's the biggest curse I feel like when it comes to people, is that you see a lot of people just sitting on their ass and not achieving shit simply because of the excuses that they've been making up in their heads for themselves, and it makes no sense most of the times. And I feel like I lack a lot of discipline when it does come to certain things that I don't really prioritize that should be a priority. I mean, I guess when it comes to the brand and stuff, I'm fully disciplined, I'm fully working on that at all times, but then when it comes to like the gym and health and stuff like that, I just don't really It's not that I don't care, but it's just like I don't feel like I prioritize it as much, and I need to start prioritizing it. You guys probably have heard this through other people, but comfort literally kills. Like once you're comfortable, it's gonna kill you. And next thing you know, the people around you are on a different level than you are on. And I've been in those positions where I was too comfortable. I was just living life. I was just doing my thing. I didn't really give a about putting myself in uncomfortable positions. I wasn't progressing. I felt like a bum up until I put myself in an uncomfortable position. I said, let me take the risk, and I took that uncomfortable decision that helped me progress, and that showed me my capabilities as a human being as to what I can achieve. And then next thing you know, I have a warehouse. Next thing you know, I'm ordering bulks worth $100,000. Next thing you know, I'm buying off my dream car. And it's just like shit like that, you know. The more comfortable you stay, the more you stay deluded and let your brain limit yourself, the least you're gonna progress. And that's just the sad truth of life. That's the hard reality. You see all these people working a 9 to 5, it's because they're all comfortable with the lifestyle that they live. They're all suckers for that secure life where they work a 9 to 5, they make a fixed amount. That shit's whatever, you can live off of it. But if you want to be financially free, if you want to actually live the dream life that you want to live, you want to buy that dream house you want to buy, you have to be putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. And I'm only 21, giving out all this wisdom. I feel like this is some basic knowledge that everybody should know and take into account. Alright, so I just got back to the warehouse. I can't even lie, today has not been much of a productive day, but we have some orders being packaged right now as we speak. I have the car parked up in here right now. I do have a quick Q&A I want to do towards the end of the video because I did post a story and I got a couple of questions racked up that I'm going to be answering. So yeah, I'm going to pick up the camera then. Start this baby up. Reversing out of this warehouse is always like a mission. This is so tight. But yeah, it is March at the moment, and for the people who have been keeping in tune with the brand, you guys do know that we haven't restocked all month. The reason as to why we couldn't have that is because of everything going on. We actually had like an 1,000-piece bulk made at the start of March. Like it was already done and completed, ready to ship out. They shipped it out, but it just, everything got delayed because of everything going on in the world. It's the last week of March and I still haven't got it in yet. You guys probably would be hoping that business is moving quick, business is doing good, so you know I got a car and stuff. But believe it or not, it's one of the slowest months that we've had. But I'm not tripping because I do know once we restock, we're gonna be flying products off the shelves. But what I have been working on, because it's kind of like an awkward kind of timing and where like I want to have stuff rolling, I want to have stock selling, but I don't have nothing in hand. I've been working on a mentorship behind the scenes. I want to kind of have more so of a more personal connection with everybody who's been keeping in tune with the brand and stuff, you know. Like I feel like I've learned a lot through the 5 years that I have been running the brand. I started this back in 2021 when I had zero knowledge on how to run a business. To this day, I'm still learning as I go, but I feel like I've done my fair share amount of work to get to where I am right now, to be able to start giving out to you guys. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are probably the same age as me, younger or even older, who are trying to get into any type of venture when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I feel like I've learned stuff that's not just niched down to a clothing brand. I've learned how to run a business all in all because I do have multiple other things going on as well for myself. I've also helped out a couple of my friends who are running their own businesses as well. And I feel like that I could make use of that knowledge and that skill to give out to you guys, and you guys can definitely take it and play it into your own lives and see the results. So I feel like it's just a win-win for the both of us, you know. For me, like starting the brand and stuff, obviously it took me 5 years to get to where I am right now, but that's because I never had a mentor, I never went to school for this, I never had a course, I never really looked up to anybody but myself. So I kind of am very, very much self-taught. But that's the beauty of it though, right? Like I taught myself, I got to where I am by myself, and now I feel like I'm in a position where I can bless everyone else and give you guys all the information and literal blueprint as to how I got to where I am right now, you know? Let me just stop talking. I just want you guys to hear this. Do a quick pull right over here. Yeah, I'm not too far away from where I'm supposed to be at right now. I'm about to go link up with Twin. And yeah, I'm gonna show you guys the other AMG that we got. It's just crazy. Damn, this is the car that I wanted before. CLA 45, all blacked out. This is like the craziest CLA 45 spec that I've seen. I even got the bucket seats too. It's really like a baby version of this right here. We both got the bucket seats. This was my first option. This is what I wanted before the CLE 53. And then these came out. And I'm like, yeah, no, this is more. I like the E-Class bodies better anyway, so it got me the CLE. But the CLA 45 is insane though still. This shit looks mean. Maybe it's just the color, the all black and then the red interior. Wait, I'm gonna rev this, okay? No, Sport Plus and then...
Okay. Oh my god!
Hold on! You know, go back there, hold on! That's crazy. Congrats. Alright everybody, so as you guys can see, I'm in my car right now. I got my phone with me and I'm going to be doing the Q&A for you guys right now as I promised. So I posted a story not too long ago and where people can ask me a bunch of questions. I have a bunch of questions over here. So yeah, I'm just going to dive straight into it. So the first question we got is, when did you start the brand and how long did it take for you to start getting orders? Fun fact for the people who have just recently found out about the brand, I know there's a lot of OGs watching this video and there's a lot of OGs that still do follow me on my personal. I initially started the brand back in Saudi Arabia. I lived in Saudi Arabia for like 10-11 years of my life, so that's when I started the brand. I started it back in 2020. I think I was in like grade 11, I think grade 10, grade 11, I don't really remember clearly. So because I started it in Saudi Arabia, the market was very, very untapped and nobody really knew what streetwear was. So when I started the brand back in Saudi Arabia, because it was so untapped and it was so new, when we started posting on TikTok, our video started getting a lot of views and a lot of traction because it was such a different thing to be doing, especially being like 16, 15 back in the day. And that's what we kind of used to market. 16-year-old with a clothing brand in Saudi Arabia, blah blah blah, and then I'll show the designs and it would be like full of like skulls and all types of gothic shit. So that like attracted a lot of eyes, which did help us a lot when it came to the first drop. So I would say we started getting orders from the first drop on. Like first drop we got like 7 orders, and then second drop we got like 20, and then third drop we got like 50, and then it kept going up from then. Obviously it wasn't easy because I was making the clothes with my own hands and like we didn't have manufacturers back then, and we were physically getting taxis to go door to door to deliver it ourselves, you know what I'm trying to say? And everything was done through cash. So it was a hustle. It was a big pain in the ass to do it, but we made it work, you know? And then as the brand got bigger, we found a courier company within Saudi Arabia that did end up scamming us too, because they would collect the cash for us and then they just never ended up paying the cash for a whole drop, and then we got kind of fucked. But to answer your question, to wrap it up, I started the brand back in 2020 and I started getting orders from the first drop on. But yeah, next question. So the second question is, why does it take long for the package to ship? This is something that I would say was that ended up being the downfall of Worst Work at one point. It's not really an issue now. The reason as to why our orders did take a very long time to ship out was because everything was on a pre-order basis. So what we would do is we'd take a list of all the orders we got from Monday to Friday and we'd send it to the manufacturers, and then it would take like 3 to 4 weeks to make. Sometimes it would take 5 to 6 weeks to make because of like production delays and whatnot. Now we've switched to pre-made stock. So if you guys can see, like the shelves are empty right now because we're sold out. We kind of keep the stock in hand now. So ever since we've started doing that, we've been doing that for like the last 2 months now. We've been shipping out basically the same day. We don't take long to ship anymore. Everything is done basically within the same day, if not within 48 hours, and it's shipped out. And yeah, we've started working with DHL for international orders, which means that you guys are going to be getting your stuff in 4 to 5 days internationally from Canada. And then within Canada and the US, it takes around like 3 to 5 days to get the stuff. So I guess that's a W for us. But yeah, next question is, how do you manage all the different things you have to do as a brand in a day? It's not something that I've fully figured out yet, I would say. That's the best part about it. You learn as you go. So as of recently, I've kind of changed that, where I've kind of hired people to work for me and I've built a very strong team around myself who handles some of the extra work for me. But before then, it was kind of a mess. Like my routine was fully cooked. I would wake up very late. I would be very, I'd do everything very last minute, ship out orders very last minute, plan drops very last minute. But then as the brand started getting bigger, I had to go through that change where it's like, fuck, what am I doing? I can't run a business like this, you know? This is actually a real business and I need to run it like a real entrepreneur. So then I put systems into place. I hired a VA who does all my email customer service. There's a couple of them who will handle the customer service aspect, and I have somebody who does my marketing, and I have somebody who manages the warehouse, counts up all the stock, brings loads in, puts everything up on the shelves. So it kind of like gives me more free time to really focus on the path that Worst Work is going to take moving on when it comes to drops, products, collections, promos, and all types of stuff like that. All right, so the next question is, what inspired you to make a clothing brand? So what inspired me to make a clothing brand is the simple fact that I just wanted to fit in. As I said, I started a brand back in Saudi Arabia and I went to an international school. So I was just surrounded by a bunch of rich people. Like I was surrounded by a bunch of rich kids literally from the royal family. Just like kids who just, you know, were handed everything to them. Like growing up, when it came to just clothes and sneakers and shoes, you'd see kids walk into school with the newest CR7 football shoes. You'd see kids with the latest Jordans. You'd see kids wearing Balmain quarter zips and this and that. You know what I'm trying to say? So I was was just very envious of that. And there was a couple people in my own friend group that I was always surrounded by who were also doing stuff like that, whereas they were wearing the latest fashion and they were buying all types of stuff and blah 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 blah. And ever since I've been like a little kid, I've always been a really creative person. I've always been into drawing stuff and creating things and making things with my own hands. So I kind of just took that skill. And I also really love clothes too. I really love fashion. The biggest brand that I looked up to was Revenge. So I was really tapped into fashion as well, and I really liked the idea of clothes. And I'm like, you know what, bro, instead of trying to do stuff, and I did some stupid shit in order to attain, you know, those flashy clothes, the designer clothes and stuff. I did some stupid shit, and it got me like caught up in some stupid shit too. And that was kind of like my wake up call to like, yo, I gotta tee up and I could just be making my own clothes instead of wanting to buy clothes from other people who probably don't even know about my existence. You know, who the fuck, the owner of Balmain doesn't know me, the owner of Bape doesn't know me, the owner of Revenge doesn't know, you know what I'm trying to say? So it's just like, why would I put in money, time, and energy into doing things that would, it just didn't make sense to me. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna just start on my own brand and I'm gonna rock my own stuff. So then that's what made me want to start the brand. And then when I started the brand, I was in love with it, because once I started seeing the pieces come to life, I'm like, damn, so this is shit that I like because I made it and I can wear it and look good in it. And then I just fell in love with the idea of having a brand, and I kept on pushing shit out. And that's when I fell in love with just having clothes being made for me. I didn't even think about the money or nothing when I first started, to be honest. I really didn't give a shit about the money. I was just so in love with the fact of being able to design clothes for myself and actually make it come to life. And then that's what kept the brand pushing. That's what kept me thriving. And then once we got a manufacturer, that's when I went even crazier, because now I'm like, okay, now I can get the clothes professionally made. Instead of me having a screen print in my fucking room, I can now do even crazier shit. I can work with rhinestones. I can make custom measurements. I can do different types of prints. And that's when I fell in love with the game. And that's what inspired me. I just wanted to fit in, you know? But yeah, the next question is, what was your first time seeing your clothes in public? I wasn't the one to witness somebody wearing my clothes in public, but what actually happened is my parents went to the hospital because I think my dad got sick or something. And then while they're there, I could probably pull up the message too. While they're there, they're just in the waiting room and they see a kid in a wheelchair just zoom out of the room, whatever room that he was in, zoom out on a wheelchair, and he was wearing the brand. And then my parents took a picture of that shit and they showed it to me, and that was the first time I ever seen anybody in public wear my stuff. And it was from our Valentine's drop back in like, I don't even know, 2021. Try pulling up the picture right now. Let's see if I can find it. As you guys can see, it was sent to me by my mom, and it's a kid on a wheelchair with a broken leg wearing the brand. That's the first time I ever seen somebody wearing my clothes in public. It wasn't me witnessing it, but it was my parents, and I guess this kind of counts. But yeah, it was kind of a cool moment. I think that's when my parents also realized, like, damn, like, okay, our son's kind of doing something with this. Like, we're seeing kids in public rocking his stuff. That, you know what I'm trying to say? It was just like something that I'm always gonna remember. The first time I ever seen somebody wearing my brand was my parents in a hospital looking at a kid with a broken leg. So the next question is, what gives you motivation to keep going? This is a good question, because there are a lot of times where I do feel demotivated and I do feel like the pressure is consuming me, and sometimes I do feel like giving up. What keeps me motivated, honestly, is you people. Like, as corny as it sounds, at the end of the day, anytime I feel demotivated, I know that there's eyes on me. I know that there's people watching, and I know that people have love for the brand, because what I've built isn't something normal, and I've come to terms with that. The brand that I started isn't no like brand that people just see and buy. Like, they buy it because it makes them feel a type of way. It makes them feel like they're a part of like a community, you know what I'm trying to say? And that's like my number one motivation right there. It's just like, why quit when there's people literally relying on you? Why quit when there's people looking forward to seeing what you have next, what you're restocking on, what you're going to be dropping next? And yeah, you guys basically motivate me to keep pushing. And yeah, I'm never going to quit though. You're never going to see me fucking fall. The next question is, how do you know how to maintain certain profit levels and keep your budget consistent? This is another topic that was also the downfall of Worst Work, is money management. I was a dumbass when it came to managing money, because obviously when the money started coming in, I don't know, I guess you could call it like trauma, but I was just buying shit. I was getting all the things that I missed out on back in the day when I would see all my friends rocking this and that. I'd missed out. So the second the money started coming in, first thing I did is walk into the LB store and buy myself some shit. Go to that store and buy those shoes. I bought my homie shoes. I bought, I just started splurging all the money. And I didn't really, at the end of the day, I'm telling you, like, I learned how to run a business all by myself. I never went to school for this shit. I never had a mentor. I never had anybody to look up to. I was just doing what made me feel the best. I got the money and I started spending it on shit. And that kind of is what fucked me over. Once I realized that, okay, shit, now I gotta pay for the clothes to be made, which I could afford, but then I was left with basically no money after that. I was left with no money to reinvest. And that's why I doubled down on money management and I started tracking every single payment I make. Everything I buy, I write down. Everything I purchase online, I write down. It's written on an Excel sheet. So the thumb rule that I live by, let's talk about the price of a product in general, right? Thumb rule that I go by is, first thing is I want to make the money back on what I put in to make the product. That's the first thing. Second thing is I want money on top of that to be able to cover shipping. The third point, have enough money to be able to buy the product again, to reinvest into the same product. So let's say it's $30. I want to have an extra $30 so I can put back into a new one. And then the last criteria is have enough money on top of that for emergency reasons, just in case something goes wrong or we need to pay extra for duties and taxes or import fees or taxes or something, whatever, whatnot. Have an extra amount on top of that to be able to cover any of those costs. And anything after that is just money that I can keep and just keep stacking on the side so I can do stuff for my personal life, you know, for myself. That's the rule book that I go by, and that's what works best for me. I answered as many questions as I could. I don't even know how many questions that was, but I hope this video gave you some type of information as to who I am and more about the brand. That was kind of my whole goal with doing a Q&A. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next
I hit the ground on my own. And everything I had to grind on my own. About to piss through the mud on my own. Putting shit I had to slave it alone. Hit up out of town, 150 miles. Heating up my engine, it's all me. I don't need no validation. The West with me, I'm certified now. He a cold kid. Westside Wizard, I'm cooking shit up like magic.